Hi guys, hope you are good. I'm just finishing setting everything up. Should work. Hi, how are you doing, Aeon? Harry's bullying tutorials and music. Durwood's missed Harry's what's the word? Heel turn. He's to give a bit of background on this. Before Liverpool played United, Harry was saying. So Harry supports United, and he was saying if United lose to Liverpool, a girl he likes is going to bully him, and his neighbor is also going to bully him. And I was like, good, I'm gonna bully you as well. And then we all know what happened. So now Harry's just getting his revenge, which is fair enough. Can't really complain. Fish says, "Come on, Gornik. Is your local team playing today? Who they're playing against?" Ikram says hi. Harry says 3-2 loss how? I mean that is a question that they will spend a couple of days answering, and then they'll say, "Oh, we had a meeting, and in the meeting we were very serious, and we discussed the issues in the meeting, and we were very serious in the meeting, and then next time we're going to be better," and then they're going to come out against the next team and do the same nonsense again. My opinion on the how is he reverted back to old tactics. So he lost 4 games in a row. And then in the Frankfurt game, he played a completely different formation. So he played 4-4-2. And then Liverpool won 5-1 in that game. So I thought, okay, fantastic. 4-4-2 is on the menu. And then for some reason, against Brentford yesterday, he went back to the old tactics of 4-3-3. And then the same old nonsense happened again. Durwood says, "Hello family. I'm no longer saying champion, lol. Understandable. But I hope you're doing good. I hope all is well with you. I hope you're feeling a bit better." Yeah, I can try checking that in a bit for you. Kirkes, Aurelio, or Dosena? I mean, I know everyone's hating on Kirkes, but I'm not off the Kirkes ship yet. But generally speaking, Fabio Aurelio, number 1. I remember we signed him on a free from Valencia, and I was like, "Ooh, Brazilian left back," and he was pretty good. Scored a few very good free kicks. Dosena maybe second. Although I can't lie, I always found having a left back with number 2 on his back was very odd. But I think it's unfair to give Kirkes a rating just yet. Jeffrey says, hi, how are you, Jeffrey? I hope you are doing good. Hope all is well with you. I think I've set up everything. I've adjusted the focus a bit, so but I don't know if it's too focused on my face now. I don't know if you can see pause, and I don't know if pause is like facial pause. I don't know if that's too much. I don't know if I should adjust the focus to maybe look at the background a bit. But it's a bit of a lottery, because I can either focus on my face or I can focus on the background. But I'll have to watch it back and see if it's too clear or not. Charlotte loves my enthusiasm. It keeps me going, keeps me sane. Ooh, they've kicked off here. Clocks have also gone back in England, which is nice, but it is a bit. It does disorientate you to a certain degree. But they've kicked off. Where's the timer? It's over there. It's not over there. It's over here. "47-ish seconds. That's good enough." So Barcelona going left to right. Barcelona on the attack, Rashford. Goes out for a corner. Check table on Ectra. I'll check your thing. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea if this is even a genuine team. Ectra. Oh, is that like the name of the Polish league? Is that what it is? Is that like La Liga? But the Polish league is called Ectra. Here you go. Here's your team, Fish. Your team is in second, which is not bad. You are 1 point off the top, even though you've played an extra game. And your mortal enemies are in position number 12. So I hope that brings you a degree of comfort and a degree of happiness. Do you like chocolate covered nuts? I mean, I don't know if that's a euphemism of some sort. What are they arguing about? Taco, is that Yamal? Taco by Yamal on Vinicius. A bit late. Is it a penalty? Why is he standing over the ball in the penalty box? That looked like that was outside the box. Unless I'm going blind in my old age. Would you rather explore outer space or the deep sea? It's got to be outer space, surely. Who knows what planets are out there? Who knows what galaxies are out there? And if there are any planets and galaxies out there, hopefully ideally they've got a good centre-back who we can borrow. Because Konate looks like he can't be bothered. Fish says we're doing better than Liverpool. To be honest, everybody is at this point. Where are Liverpool actually in the league? I don't even know, to be honest. 6th. Okay, not the end of the world. Not ideal, but also not the end of the world. Ilyas says, hello bro, just wanted to remind you that we are on top of Liverpool on the table now. Indeed, and it's Liverpool's fault completely. It's one of those things where they only have themselves to blame. So Liverpool are 6th, Arsenal are 1st, Bournemouth are 2nd, Sunderland are 3rd. I mean, the fact that Bournemouth and Sunderland... maybe I should show you. The fact that Bournemouth and Sunderland are 3rd surely shows the strength of the league in depth. Man City are 4th, Man United 5th, Liverpool 6th. Look at all those red X's though, in terms of the last 5. X, 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 X. Yeah, we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens now. And not to make things worse, but next game is Crystal Palace, which is always tough. I think the one after that is Villa, which is never easy. One after that is Real Madrid, which is perfect timing. And the one after that is Man City away. So when it rains, it pours. And Real Madrid just kick it out. Will Liverpool's new midfield dynamics increase pressing intensity? I mean, in theory it should, but in reality, I'm not sure it has. The main thing for me again is just the setup. The setup is weird. The formation is weird. I was saying the other day, it doesn't feel like a team. It feels like 3 separate teams. There's a defense team, there's a midfield team, and there's an attack team. and none of them know each other. There's some rumours today that Klopp might be coming back. I don't know how much truth there is in that, but he did that interview, didn't he, with that weird guy? That kind of tell-all interview where he basically said he wouldn't mind coming back, long story short. I'm not sure how I feel about it though. I think for now it's worth kind of giving this manager a bit more time. He's got credit in the bank for winning the league last year, but each loss depletes that credit. But credit is not at zero yet. But the obsession with 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 needs to stop, because other teams have clearly figured that out. There's no point changing tactics for one game, winning and then going back to old tactics. Still not much happening in this game, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm super behind though. Let me see if I can find something that's more up to date. Ikram says Liverpool's players are heroes. I think it's up to them to try and prove that now. Ooh, just wide. Arsenal still 1-0 up. Man City still 1-0 down. Which is fantastic. He won the league with Klopp's team. True, he did. In a way, that's a good thing, and in a way, that's a bad thing. Because I think you can also argue that Klopp did not win the league with his team, as in the last few years. So I see the positive side of it. Like it was Klopp's team, but when Klopp left, was it a team that was capable of winning the league? Was it a team that was within the conversations of winning the league? I don't think so. And certainly when kind of a lot of the predictions were done for that season, nobody had Liverpool in first. So I think he deserves credit for getting maybe a top 4, top 3 team up to first. But the flip side is when he's bought, and to be fair, he hasn't just bought these players. It would have been a collective decision. But when these players have been bought, it doesn't seem to have quite worked yet. But arguably, it was working at the start for like the first 5-6 games. They just then went on a bad run. But the first time I started getting concerned was yesterday when he kind of reverted back to the 4-3-3. I just find that bizarre. So I guess we'll have to kind of see what happens against Palace, what happens against Real Madrid, and what happens against Man City. None of that is ideal. Rob James says, give a shout out to Bradford City Football Club. Or shout out to Bradford. Is it a championship that they're in, Bradford? Championship table. Don't see it. Maybe League One? Ah, yeah, League One. You are third. I mean, you're third, but to be fair, you're equal on points with Cardiff, who are in first. Yeah, you're doing pretty well. Indeed you are. Flying high in League One. Speaking of flying high, Real Madrid have just scored. I've just missed that though because I was looking at the I was looking at the League One table. I think it's Mbappe. I'm just waiting to see the replay. Yes, hugging and kissing. Yes, get on with it. Show the replay. I think it's Arda Güler. That's a very good goal to be fair. Arda Güler wins the ball high up the pitch, and the ball just kind of bounces outside the box. The ball just bounces kind of outside the box, and then he just thumps it. He just thumps it with like the laces, and it goes in. I mean, that's a good goal to be fair. Put that to 1-0. There you go. But yeah, hopefully promoted this season. It's certainly possible. 13 played, 7 wins, 5 draws, 1 loss. You've lost the least amount of games out of everyone. You've only got 1 loss. So yeah, good luck to you. Charlotte said you're such a positive influence. It keeps me sane, I can't lie. It took a while for yesterday's result to sink in. I'm a bit more annoyed about it now. Sometimes things need to just sink in a bit. But as soon as that match started yesterday, I was saying, why has he gone back to the 4-3-3? The 4-3-3 doesn't work. It's been choked off. Goal's been choked off. Was it an offside, was it? Thank you for the update. I will change that back. It's a shame that was offside because that was quite a nice strike with the laces. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. But you might be right. If Klopp comes back, 66 will follow him. Well, we're not paying for him, I hope. So certainly not paying for him. It's a possibility. The thing is with the whole kind of Klopp situation, he's the one that decided to leave because he was tired, he'd had enough, whatever. So if he wants to come back, I'd be interested to know, is he actually serious about coming back, or after a year or two, is he gonna say, "Oh, I'm tired of this stuff now"? Like, for argument's sake, if Slot continues to repeatedly lose games and Klopp wants to come back, it's an option. But for me, he'd need to be there. He'd need to commit for a couple of years at least. It doesn't need to be 9 years again, but it would need to be a couple of years at the very least. What I know for a fact is that Alexander Isak's legs are not going to be handling club football. Ryan Gravenberch will not be particularly happy, but Wataru Endo will be very happy. So it's a mixed bag. But in an ideal situation, I think the current manager hopefully turns it around. But again, broken record, but then needs to be changed. The tactics don't work, and please don't blame the other team for playing long balls or whatever. They're showing the Mbappe offside, to be honest, by a hairline. Fish says, Gornik 1-0, Man United Champions League. Yeah, I remember you asked me to Google that a few weeks ago, a few months ago even. It was something, I think it was 1952 or something like that, but a win's a win. Charlotte says, who has stepped up during injuries? Has anybody stepped up? Stepped up during injuries? I mean, you could say maybe Leone did for that one game he played before he got injured. I felt like he stepped up. Mamardashvili's doing fine. I mean, he's clearly not Alisson, but he's doing fine. But the whole injury thing is a bit bizarre because I'd argue it's pretty much a full strength team. I heard about the Klopp rumor a few days ago. I don't believe it. Plus, isn't he involved with another group? Yeah, he's working with the kind of RB Leipzig Red Bull guys. Not as a manager, but as head of football. It feels like one of those empty roles where like you're head of whatever, but in reality you don't actually do anything. And it feels like more of a kind of high level management role, which I'm not sure is him, which could be why he seems to be flirting with the idea of maybe coming back. That interview was very revealing, and the timing of it, again, I've not seen it because I find the other guy on it annoying, but from what I read in transcripts, he was basically saying he's open to coming back, and I just find the timing of that number one. I don't know if disrespectful is the word, but it feels a bit disrespectful to say that when somebody else is working the job. I don't know if disrespectful is too strong a word, but it just like it's just a bizarre thing to say. Unless he really was insistent on coming back, but who knows? It's an option. The thing is with me, if kind of Liverpool continue to lose games, and again, there's losing games, and there's also winning games via luck, and like winning games via luck, I'd argue, is not much better than losing a game. Because winning games via luck is just kind of papering over the cracks. So we'll have to see what happens, I guess. Pixel says, what's going on? Nothing much. Just talking about... officially watching Real Madrid versus Barcelona. But to be honest, mostly talking about the Liverpool situation. How's things with you? I'm on the train right now back from the city. Nice. Is this from your Halloween party? Or is this just generally? Are you on an Amtrak train? Because I gotta say, I love those trains. You get a lot of space. The trains we get in England are tiny, but those Amtrak trains you can properly stretch out. So a guy with an Arsenal shirt told him congrats. Nice. Yeah, I was a scarecrow. Oh wow, you went to a Halloween party as Ibrahim Konate. I hope he appreciates that. NJ Transit, nice. I hope you have a nice journey. Still a 0-0 in this Real Madrid Barcelona game. Mbappe had a very good shot, but outside the box, volleyed it, but it was just offside. It would be funny if he did come back and Pep Blinders took over for City. It would be kind of Klopp versus Pep version 2, where it's the same Klopp and a different Pep. Pixel says, I was trying to find someone watching the game to sit next to. No luck. So I've stuck with you as the backup. That's okay. I'll take it. It's good enough. Ooh, Mbappe through here. Mbappe scores. Is that one offside? That one was good, to be fair. It was kind of it was a through ball by Jude Bellingham from the halfway line, straight through to Mbappe. Straight through to Mbappe, and I think that's 1-0. I'm not gonna put it on yet because I put the last goal on and it got choked off. Maybe Slot isn't going to sign another contract and they talked to him already. Oh yeah, good point. So Slot signed a 3-year deal when he joined. Which means he's got about 2 years left now. Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. If he does come back, it'll be interesting to see how he integrates into the whole Edwards and Richard Hughes situation, because I'd presume he'd be coming back as a head coach, not as a manager, which means he basically handles the stuff on the pitch, but the stuff off the pitch is done collectively. I mean, is he willing to accept that? Would you be willing to go back to your old job with less control? I mean, I guess if they pay him a bunch of money, probably. It'll be interesting to see. Pixel says, "Oh, I hit. It's okay. I ended up taking the I removed the swearing filter entirely. I've taken it. I've set it. It was set to like some moderation. I've just put it on none. So you should be okay now." Where's 66? I believe he's still injured, to be honest with you. Goal is good. Looks like it. Put it back to 1-0. Fish says 67-68. We were in the quarterfinal of the Champions League. Nice. Is that like the crowning achievement of your local team? Because it's a good achievement, to be fair. Would you say that's their biggest achievement? Again, it's a good achievement. Slat says the window has set Liverpool back 5 years. The fullbacks are poor. Wirtz and Isak don't fit. I maybe wouldn't say 5 years. I think from a personnel perspective, the players are good. The issue for me is the tactics, because I think it's one thing buying players, and then it's another thing finding a recipe that works for those players. I just feel like the tactics that are being played don't really suit the strength of the team. Ooh, Bellingham, but that goes wide. Like, Kirkheads is a good player. He was in the team of the season last year. Isak is a good player. Wirtz is a good player. Frimpong is pretty good. Like, that caliber of player should not set you back 5 years. So to me, it's tactical. Tactical is one side of it. It could also be mental. It could also be managerial. Quite often, when you're kind of managing teams, it's not just about what you say. It's also about how you say it. Sometimes you can't, like, again, I know this from managing people. You can't always use the same approach on every person. Different people have different buttons. And I think Klopp understood that. I think Klopp would alter his approach kind of based on the player. Maybe Slot is not doing that, but I'd just be guessing. Pixel says Valverde is so good. I wish he didn't play for Real. Yeah, Real have a embarrassment of riches, to be honest, especially in midfield. This is 66 first game back. They would be stupid to put him in against Barcelona. They would be stupid, but that would be funny. So I presume he's on the bench then. Hopefully he comes off the bench and hopefully he makes them concede, because that would be fantastic. Izu says, Wirtz hasn't been poor. He's always wanting the ball, making passes. Making passes, yes. I agree with you. And also in the Frankfurt game, if you saw some of the stats for the Frankfurt game, he ran the most distance. He ran more than Szoboszlai. So for me, the core issues are tactical. Partly tactical, I think partly maybe motivational, but mostly tactical. Like people want Elise, for example, and I'm like, okay, but if you stick Elise in this team, it's not gonna make it. It's not gonna paper over the defensive frailties. It's not gonna paper over the fact that the midfield is too wide quite often. The solution, like the easy solution, just feels like buy players. But I don't think it's a player thing. I feel like it's a tactical thing. Do you prefer swimming or hiking? I used to really enjoy swimming in schools, but to be honest, I've not done it for like 20 years. I'd say walking, but not hiking. Walking. In Canada, I walked 150 miles. I checked my watch yesterday. 150 miles in 10 days. I think that's quite good. Jonathan is scared. Real Madrid are 1-0 up. I'm shaking my boots. Well, that's unfortunate. I do suspect a hint of sarcasm. Slat says sign some substandard players, 89, 90, 91. Ronnie Rosenthal, Speed, Carter. True. For me though, I don't think these players are substandard. Because if you take Kerkez as an example, Kerkez was in the team of the season. Isak scored 20, 25 goals. Wirtz is basically Germany's golden boy alongside Musiala. For me, the problem is the tactical side, I'd say. Take care, Slat. Have a nice. Hope you have a nice afternoon. It's dark, it's cold, and hell is Slat. Ooh, Real Madrid saved. Hampy says, if Slat doesn't win his next 4 games, which are hard, conversations about him are going to start. I think you're right. I think conversations have potentially I think conversations have already started at a high level. And as you've said, the next 4 games are very difficult. Crystal Palace, who seem to be Liverpool's bogey team. I mean, everyone seems to be Liverpool's bogey team at the moment, but Crystal Palace is going to be difficult. Aston Villa, going to be difficult. Real Madrid, going to be difficult. And to round things off, Man City away is going to be difficult. But yeah, I'm going to need to I'm gonna need to see some sort of significant change. What is perhaps the most frustrating for me is Liverpool lost 4 games in a row. They then completely changed their tactics for Frankfurt. So instead of playing 4-2-3-1, he played basically a 4-4-2. And in doing a 4-4-2, he scored 5 goals and he had 19 shots, which is insane. So then all of yesterday, I was so excited in the morning and the afternoon. I was thinking, oh great, but we're going to see that 4-4-2 again. Are we going to get more than 19 shots, or are we going to get less than 19 shots? What's going to happen? And then I sat down and it's bloody 4-3-3 again. I was like, what are you doing? This doesn't work. Why are you reverting back to what doesn't work? So yeah, I'm going to need to see some sort of significant change from a tactics perspective, because I think this 4-3-3 has been figured out. Durwood says, why the hate on Wirtz? He hasn't scored, but he has assist. He hasn't played poor. I don't understand how fans give up on new players so quickly. Yeah, I do. I do find that a bit bizarre. I think it's a sign of the times to a certain degree. Everyone kind of wants instant results. You have to be a resounding success instantly, and if you're not, it's the end of the world. I think it's a sign of the times, I think, that people kind of look for instant gratification. Another example of this is I think media viewing habits. So people don't really watch movies anymore because they're too long. More people just kind of scroll on their phone. So I think kind of it's a change in the psyche of society, maybe to a certain degree. I think maybe that's part of it. Other teams clearly will want to hate on him because he's expensive and they would have wanted him. But from my perspective, I think he's been fine. And I'd argue in the Frankfurt game, I thought he was very good. Was that a couple of days ago? 3-4 days ago? I thought he was very good. Got 2 assists and was all over the place. So I just find the talking point of these players are not good enough bizarre, because these players are clearly good enough. These players are elite. Like you could maybe say it about Frimpong, but Isak you'd say is one of the top strikers in the world. Wirtz you'd say is one of the top number 10s in the world. So that's why I just don't subscribe to the argument that the players are not good enough. For me, it's a managerial thing, I think. Ikram says, you're so chill. I am when I'm watching football. I'm not when I'm playing computer games. Hampy says, question is, if he goes, who comes in? Klopp return? Can we convince Luis Enrique to come? With the Klopp thing, there just seems to be far too much noise. Saved by Courtois. The thing is with Courtois, his arms are gigantic and his legs are gigantic, so it's very hard to score past him. The thing is with this whole Klopp... with the whole Klopp thing, there just seems to be a bit too much noise there for it to be purely speculation. He did an interview with that weird guy, I don't know his name, where he basically said he's open to returning. That's a very odd thing to say when somebody else has the job. I was like, okay, but that's a bit of a weird... What do you mean? Like somebody else, I don't know. It's gonna sound really weird, but like, it's like if somebody is dating someone and you say that you like them. It's like, no, I mean, she's dating somebody else or he's dating somebody else. It just felt like a really kind of weird thing to say, which makes me think that there might be more behind this. But kind of looking forward, if he kind of continues to lose games, it looks like it's a serious possibility. The thing is, if he does come back, I would want some level of serious commitment, because he's the one that decided to leave. So I don't want him just to come back because he's a bit bored. Like, you know, it just feels like going back to your ex to a certain degree because you missed them. And then once you go back, you're like, oh, you know, I remember why I left. So like, if he's serious about coming back, there needs to be a level of kind of serious commitment, because you don't want him just to go after a year. Luis Enrique is a possibility. Andoni Iraola, because we seem to love everything about that team. About Bournemouth. But hopefully this is a bridge that we don't have to cross. But with each loss, it makes the bridge even more likely. Top Flow says, I can't see where the next point is going to come. I hear you. I was expecting a turnaround at the Man United game, and then it didn't happen. Like last month, I'd be going into every game having a high degree of confidence that Liverpool would win. But there's only so many times you can concede a goal within the first 2 minutes. There's only so many times that can happen until at which point you start losing belief. So yeah, next game's Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace. Again, I'm gonna need to see a formation change. If that Crystal Palace game kicks off and it's outside shot by Bellingham but saved. If that Crystal Palace game kicks off and it's Salah on the right, Gakpo on the left, and Ekitike in the middle, I'd be seriously concerned that we're all wasting our time, because you're going to lose that game. Whereas if that game kicks off and it's Salah and Ekitike up top together, Gakpo on the far left, maybe Wirtz on the right, maybe anybody on the right, then I'd say, okay, you know what, this is maybe this is looking better. Jonathan showing his support for Barcelona. Why did the fish blush? Because it saw the ocean. Reina, Dudek or Mignolet? Maybe Reina number 1, Mignolet number 2, Dudek number 3. I appreciate Dudek had the heroics in the 2005 final, but I was never particularly confident with him in goal. Ooh, Barcelona have equalised. Jonathan will be very happy about that. And Durwood will also be very happy about that. Fermin Lopez. There's no need to cry, Jonathan, unless it's tears of joy and happiness, because you have equalised. I'm gonna change the score, and hopefully they don't rule this one out. But it's Arda Güler who was, to be honest, messing about with the ball. Is that a Rashford assist? That might be a Rashford assist. It is a Rashford assist. Low cross with the left foot. And then Fermin Lopez just smacks it into the net. Which is fair enough. What was your favourite hobby as a child? Probably computer games, to be honest. But yeah, 1-1 here. This says Gornik Zabje burger. I'll have to try that. I've never had that before. Jonathan says, oh my god, I love you, Frime. Do you mean Fermin? I mean, you've got some of the letters right. Just the ordering can perhaps be worked on. Or how to spell him. But I love him. I love him. I will give him my newborn whenever he's born in the future. I'm sure he'll be very happy about that. If they sack Slot, then it will be no better than United and Forest. I mean, no disrespect, but when those teams lose, everyone is screaming to get rid of the manager, and they change it would be stupid. Yeah, and it wouldn't really make sense. It wouldn't really make sense for me to sack him right now, because I feel like he's got a lot of credit in the bank for winning the league. I appreciate that credit is depleted with each loss. But for me, it wouldn't make sense. Wouldn't make sense to sack him. I don't know when I would. But this is header by Barcelona, but saved. But he's going through a difficult time. I think he needs to be given the time to kind of fix that. Because the last thing I want is they sack Slot and then they bring somebody else in. Let's say Iraola or somebody. And Iraola is amazing for about 3 months. And then things are not amazing. And then you have to sack Iraola as well. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want Liverpool to fall into that cycle of manager screws up, sack the manager, get a new manager. Things are better for a bit. But then things get bad again, and then you sack the second manager and then get a third one, and then things are better for a bit. It just feels like the Man United cycle and the Chelsea cycle. So I would still give him time to fix it. Me personally, I had not lost any belief until yesterday's game when I saw it was a 4-3-3. For me, that was the first time where I was like, are you serious? And as soon as I look up at the sky, trying to remember the game, Real Madrid are celebrating, so I've missed another goal. The exact time I look up, I'm like, the first time I lost belief was, and then I look down and Bellingham celebrating. Yeah, it's his first season with the team. I mean, everyone was waxing lyrical about him last year, so give him a bit of time to fix it. How you doing, Reluctant Gamer? Hope you're well. Arsenal. Oh, is that full time? Just seeing the replay here. Vinicius crossed it on the left. I mean, that defending is poor. There's a radius of about 20 meters around Bellingham, where nobody was getting near him. Oh, screwed that up there. But 2-1, at least there's been a couple of goals. But yeah, Reluctant Gamer says Arsenal beat Palace 1-0. That's a shame. Oh, and Villa beat Man City as well. If you see that there. So Arsenal 1-0 against Palace. Villa 1-0 against City. That's not what we want. But yeah, I hope you're good. I think I might start playing Tormented Souls 2 soon. Tormented Souls 1, that was my surprise of the year last year. I was very surprised with that game. And Tormented Souls 2 has come out a few days ago, so I think I might start playing that soon. Yeah, Eze goal, as the Fisher said there. City lost. Indeed. 1-0 against Villa. Al Brown says, sacking Slot is not the answer. The answer is the players we need to sort themselves out. Yeah. I don't think it's the answer. I think it might give them short-term relief and kind of short-term gain because you'd get a different manager in. And typically you have a new manager bounce. But that's not good enough. Because is the same thing going to happen with the new manager after 3 months, as an example? I do think there's some responsibility on the players, but I think for me a lot of it is tactical. I find the tactics a bit bizarre. Oh, Mbappe and his 3. What are Barcelona doing? Honestly, oh, it's offside. Thankfully, it's offside. Thankfully. I say thankfully because then it means I don't have to update the score. That's why I'm saying thankfully. It means I kind of move my hands. But yeah, I find the tactics odd. And again, I don't know if I'm simplifying this a bit too much, but for me, he found a tactical setup that worked versus Frankfurt. Beat Frankfurt 5-1 in the Champions League away from home. Had 19 shots on goal. And then he sees that. And decides to revert back to what didn't work. I find that a bit odd. Jonathan says, I send you a massage. Well, that's a bit inappropriate. A few days ago, saying that, can you do the Barcelona versus Real Madrid? And you didn't see it, but you ended up doing it. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not particularly good with, like I have an Instagram account, but I don't really check it. Yeah, if you, it's best to, it's easiest to get a hold of me here. Or what Fish does sometimes. Fish will sometimes leave a comment on a video, and then that I do check. So that's one way as well. Jeffrey says slot stays and fixes the issues. Yes, I think that would be the ideal situation for me. There's a chance. I think there's a chance you sack slot. As an example, there's a chance that you sack slot, and then you get Iraola in. And then you sack Iraola, and then you get a third person in, and then the same people in a year will be saying, "Why did we sack Slot? Why did we sack the second Premier League winning manager we've ever had? Like, were we too quick?" You know what I mean? So the same people kind of calling for his head will then try and take the high ground and say we never should have sacked him a year later. You see this every time. I feel like people just say outrageous things for clicks. I appreciate people have a lot of emotional investment in this, like I understand, but that isn't a reason to use emotion in decision making. I think you have to take emotion out of decision making. I mean, Slot's done lots of good things. Is he perfect? No. But let's give him a bit more time to try and fix this. Because the flip side is as well, if you sack him, for argument's sake, who is available on the market who you feel is competent enough? Klopp seems to be flirting with the idea of coming back. But is Klopp committed in the long term? I don't want Klopp to come back for 1 or 2 seasons and then he says, "Oh, I'm tired now. I'm tired. I'm an old man," and then he leaves. Because then you're just in the same situation. I would want someone who's committed for the long term. Like you don't like kind of wherever you work, like whether it's an office, whether it's a supermarket, whether it's an accountancy firm, whatever. It's like you don't really want to hire somebody just for a year and then have to hire somebody again. That's a good point by Durwood. Forest lost, so changing the manager isn't always the answer. Yeah. So Forest is perhaps a very good example. Forest have gone from a position of kind of relative stability. They qualified. They did amazing. They flirted with the Champions League positions, which is amazing. They still qualified for Europe. Had a few bad results. They sacked the manager. And then they got Anjin, mate. Get up the pitch, mate. Gave him about 3 seconds and sacked him. So Forest have gone from a kind of area of stability with Nuno to instability with Ange, and now serious instability because they've lost 2-0 to Bournemouth today. Things can very quickly go astray. And you know the people at Forest who wanted Nuno out, now that they had Ange and now that they've had a third manager, they probably want Nuno back now because they say, "Oh, Nuno was the best. Nuno was the best we ever had." It's like sometimes when you think you can do better, so you break up with somebody and then you come crawling back. Feels a bit like that. You meant message, not massage. Okay, I was a bit concerned when you said I send you a massage. Top Flow says we do our homework and bring in someone proven, not Iraola. I hear you, and I think you're correct. The kind of pushback I'd have is, was Slot not also the result of homework? Like that homework worked because he won the league. I just think since he's here, we might as well just see if he can get out of the situation. Because once you sack him, then you'll never know. And he's proven he's a good manager. Like for me, winning the league last year, it has bought him a lot of credit in the bank. In my head doesn't matter, but in my head, let's say winning the league has bought him £100 worth of credit. Each loss, cuts that down to maybe £95 now, £85 left. But for me, the credit's not at zero yet. Gelato says, what's Liverpool missing? Honestly, probably a bit of gelato, because gelato makes everyone happy. It might lift the moods. It might lift the mood, can't lie. But I think the issue is very tactical. Man speaking from experience. Pro Skills says, nice to see you are streaming El Clasico. Yeah, I appreciate that. Nice to see you as well. Hope you're doing good. The timing for this will be a bit better for you, thankfully. Not too late. But yeah, I hope you're doing good. T says it's just the E-Reds that won't slot out. This is his first real trouble patch and it's immediately sack. Yeah, it's a lot, and again, I don't mean this in a kind of condescending way, but like a lot of them are very young as well, so they don't really have experience with regards to the things that they are. The opinions they're saying are not educated opinions. But yeah, that's not how life works. You can't sack somebody the first time things go wrong, and you especially can't sack somebody the first time things go wrong when said individual exceeded the expectation last year. You give him a bit of time to kind of sort it out. As I've said, he's a good manager. He's highly rated. He won the league. Things are not going ideally right now, but things were going quite good at the start of the season. And I think he's deserved the chance. I think he's deserved the chance to try and sort things out. It's interesting that you say that, because they will say it about the manager, and they'll also say it about the players. Like if I don't know, if Salah doesn't perform for 2 games, it's get rid of Salah, he's rubbish, he's a bitch. And to be honest, a lot of people who make videos, I feel like are very guilty of this as well. But if Salah doesn't perform for 2 games, get rid of Salah, sell him, he's rubbish, get rid, he's past it. You know what I mean? But then if Salah then scores in the next game, then suddenly Salah's the best thing since sliced bread again. I don't really understand. I think people need to be a bit more level-headed. So yeah, for me, I think he deserves a bit more time. Time is not endless, because as I said, winning the league for argument's sake will give you £100 of credit in the bank. Each loss maybe takes away £5, £10. So eventually it will go down to 0. But not anyone can win the league. So let's see what he's made of. Top Flow says no Forest fan wanted Nuno out. The owner did. I mean, the owner is a good example as well. The owner is maybe regretting that now. The owner is maybe regretting that. Owner thought he could do better than Nuno. He got Ange. He had Ange for about 5 seconds, and it ended up costing him millions of pounds. And now he sacked Ange. And now Forest have lost 2-0 today. So maybe the owner, maybe the owner's having second thoughts, I think. Sean says, the manager insists on being stubborn and playing out-of-form players, trying to prove a point at the detriment of our team. I agree with you there. I'm not quite in the Salah, get rid of Salah, throw him to the curb camp, but I do think he's out of form. So I think if Salah's out of form, surely there's an opportunity for Chiesa to play. Because when Chiesa comes on, he's aggressive, he's forward thinking, he delivers output, he gets assists, nice assist for Isak. I think he got an assist for Ekatike as well, a couple of goals here and there. So I think I think you are right. I think you are right in what you say. Me personally, I wouldn't play Salah right now. I would play Chiesa in his position. I still think Salah's very good. I still think Salah's a top player. But right now he's out of form. Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, I don't know. But start Chiesa. And maybe a bit of time on the bench would do Salah good. It'll give him a bit of a break mentally. It will give him a bit of a break physically, and hopefully it could kind of light a fire in him where he sees, now Chiesa has taken his spot. Salah's gonna train a lot harder and try and get that spot back. Everybody wins. Yeah, I was really disappointed yesterday when the game started and I saw Salah on the right, because in the Frankfurt game there was a completely different system with two up top. So that's what I was hoping to see. So I think you're right on the stubbornness as well, because he kind of stubbornly went back to his 4-2-3-1, which we know doesn't work because you lost 4 games in a row and ended up losing another game yesterday. Sean says that Kirkers and Salah need to be benched. Play Chiesa. Vert's been underwhelming. I think at this point I perhaps would bench Kirkers and Salah. I was unsure on kind of benching Kirkers maybe a week ago, but I think at this point you have to start with Robertson. Salah I'd bench, yeah. Play Chiesa, play Robertson. I think Verts has been good, to be fair. I think Verts has been okay. Has been good at times, but I think a lot of it for me kind of comes down to the system. I don't think the system is getting the most out of it. The system still seems to be kind of engineered around accommodating Salah. Salah's great. Salah gets a lot of goals, but Salah does not press and Salah does not defend. And you are able to sacrifice your team to a certain degree if Salah's scoring a gazillion goals. But if Salah's not scoring a gazillion goals, you maybe can't sacrifice your entire team for a guy who's not going to score. So I'm cautiously curious to see what happens in the next game, but I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm curious. Jonathan has to go to school, and if we lose, I'll get roasted alive by everyone at school. That's unfortunate. You should roast them back. Durwood says, I wouldn't count this season at all. They lost a player, sold a bunch of players, brought in a bunch of starters. Not one of us knows how the veteran players are dealing with it, looking at Salah, yeah. Now, that's a good point. I remember, to be fair, we did raise this in the summer. To be fair, I mentioned it, but as a thing. But I wouldn't go so far as to say I predicted the future. I just mentioned it as a thing, but I didn't say I think it's gonna happen. We did talk about how Liverpool have won the league, and now they're making significant changes to a team that's won the league. You're changing the right back, you're changing the left back. So you're changing 50% of the defense that won the league. And you're also making additional changes up front. Is that going to have a serious impact? So we did kind of discuss that. To be fair, I didn't quite think it would have this level of impact. So I'm not going to say, I told you so, because I just mentioned it. But to be honest, I didn't really think it would happen. So I'd be being dishonest if I said I told you so, because I mentioned it, but I didn't actually think it would happen. But yeah, for me, he deserves that time. He deserves that time to sort it out. We definitely need Mark Gahey this winter, yeah. Kanate, Kanate's fine, but his head is in the clouds, and I think it's the clouds of Madrid, not the clouds of the north of England. Unfortunately, I think he's moved on. What's unfortunate as well, you brought Gio Leone in, and he got injured, so there isn't really any competition for Kanate as well. So I think if they can get Mark Gahey in winter, even if it's 20 million, let's do it. Harry's bullying tutorials and music says we are 5th and you are 6th. Indeed we are. Can we use our Call of Duty game as an example? Because then I could say I'm first and you're last, or is or is that not allowed? Is that not allowed? Fish says we're second, baby. Harry is Fish's favorite person. I feel like I'm Fish's second favorite person, and Harry is Fish's first favorite person. Daddy Chill says it's half time, not 59, and I say what the hell is even that? But you are correct. I don't know if anyone understood that reference. Let me set the timer back to 45. There you go. There you go. All good. All good. Sean says, totally agree with you there. We need 2 up top. Frimpong and Wirtz on the right. Robbo and Chiesa on the left. Isak Ekitike up top. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of similar to what we saw against Frankfurt. And it seemed to work really well. Frankfurt away. So an away fixture in the Champions League, which is never easy. And you score 5 goals and you have 19 shots. I was so happy after that, because I felt like we had finally found something that worked, and we'd finally found a tactic that integrated all the new players, and all the new players were kind of showing aggression, and they seemed to be happy to be there, because I think you have to be happy to be on the pitch as well, because if you're unhappy, you start moping around, start sloping your shoulders like this, and then when that happens, it's never a good result. So players seemed happy in the tactic, and I was like, great, we're going to do that against Brentford, and then that didn't happen. Yeah, I've corrected the timer. Thank you. Give me a second. What channel are you watching Madden on? Oh, Madrid. It's an Irish it's an Irish channel, to be honest. First you said Madden, I was like, I don't watch much. I don't watch much American football. Sean says Gomez should play. Would you play Gomez in centre back? How you doing, Luke? Hope you're good. I'm normally good during the match, but then half time I'm just trying to catch up. Harry says I carry on a 2 versus 2 gun game mode on COD, so you can't. Yeah, to be fair, you did good at that. To be fair, you did do really good at that. Luke says we don't deserve Sabo or Chiesa. They're the only ones that try. Yeah, I mean, Sabazlai seemed kind of borderline disgusted with everyone else. I mean, number one, I think that's future captain material. Because when everyone else kind of can't be bothered, when everyone else's motivation had kind of sunk, Sabazlai was still trying to kind of rally everyone around, was trying to encourage everyone. So you are correct, and I think that also indicates Sabazlai could be future captain material. I mean, he was captain for Hungary at a very young age, so kind of shows as well. But yeah, and Chiesa as well. Whenever Chiesa comes on, he's forward thinking, he's aggressive, he's trying to make things happen. So I'd say let's start him. Like, again, I love Salah. I think Salah's great. I think Salah's fantastic. But equally, I'm not deluded enough to basically. I can see that the guy's out of form, so I would much rather start Chiesa for now. And maybe if you start Chiesa, it might kind of increase kind of Salah's motivation, and then because Salah won't be happy that Chiesa has taken his spot. Maybe Salah will try harder, and then maybe Salah will then try and get his spot back, which means Salah performs at an even higher level. So I think everybody wins. I think Chiesa should definitely be a starter. Johnny says we've got quite a few problems. The biggest problem for me, I'd say, would be the tactics. I still think the personnel are very good. I think Kerkez is a very good left back. I mean, he was in the team of the season last year. I think Frimpong's a good right back who can also kind of play right wing. I'd argue he's more of a wing back, but it is what it is. I think Isak's a very good striker. Still getting up to fitness, and it's really disappointing that he's got that groin issue now. I think Wirtz is a very good number 10. I think the players on paper are very good. For me, the kind of main issue is around tactics and how these players are used. Johnny's got the game. Your time confused me. Right, fair enough. Yeah, I stopped the timer a bit too late. Kerkez has to come out, and sadly, so does Mo Salah. Yeah, I agree with you. Maybe the kind of enormity of the club and the enormity of the situation that you're in, that he's in, is not helping Kerkez's situation. So maybe you need a bit of experience in that situation. I think if you're a young player and you're new to a club, the best learning environment, I think, is when you're doing well. Because when you're doing well, you've got a bit more freedom. You can take a few more risks, and it's a better environment to learn. Whereas I think when you're doing terribly, that's not a good environment for a new young player. So I think I still really, really like Kerkez. I'm still really glad we signed him. I still think there's a very good player in there, but I agree, given the current situation, it's just kicked off. I'll set the timer in a bit. Given the current situation, I think you need Robertson's experience. You just need Robertson's experience. So yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that's done. And what was the second one you said? Yeah, and Salah as well. Yeah, and again, I love Salah. Salah's fantastic. Salah pretty much single-handedly won us a Premier League last year. But equally, I'm not deluded enough to say he is infallible, because he's not, because he's clearly out of form. And again, I'm not saying Salim, get rid, get out my club. I'm not saying nonsense, disrespectful nonsense like that to somebody who has given us a lot. But right now he's out of form. Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's something else, I don't know. But having a rest tends to heal those things. So stick him on the bench. Start Chiesa. And I would start Chiesa as a striker alongside Ekitike, because that's probably the only option. And then see what happens. Yeah, the tactics are bizarre. Again, like, lost 4 games in a row, playing 4-2-3-1. There was then a change for the Frankfurt game. So in the Frankfurt game, he changed to 4-4-2 without the ball, 4-2-4 with the ball. So new tactics for Frankfurt game, and you won that game, 5-1. So then all of yesterday, I was thinking, okay, great. I'm looking forward to seeing that formation again, and then he just reverted back to the old formation, which is annoying as hell. Let me just set the timer. Even though, let's be honest, talking about Liverpool's far more interesting than than Real Madrid. But let me just set the timer. 47. 45. There you go. I've just heard a stat that Liverpool have conceded a goal from the first or second shot against us in a match. Don't know if it's true. It wouldn't surprise me if it is true, because I feel Bellingham corner. Liverpool seem to concede within the first 5 minutes repeatedly. Yesterday was in the first, and I know that because sometimes I haven't set up yet in the first 5 minutes, and then as I'm setting up, Liverpool have conceded. So that's how I remember, because I'm not set up yet and Liverpool are already down. But yeah, Liverpool conceded very early yesterday, conceded very early against Man United. It's like if you go 1-0 down within a couple of minutes, what chance do you have? Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that statistic is correct, to be honest with you. Ooh, handball. I saw Bellingham touching his elbow. This is the point where I try to kind of lip read. Xabi Alonso looks like he could still play football. He's checking the screen. Stephen Hooper says hi. How you, Steve? Easy Guy says, bro, aren't you the New York mayor? I presume you mean Mamdani and not Cuomo. I'll take that as a compliment, unless you mean Andrew Cuomo. Yeah, I agree with Pasquale. 4-4-2 should be the main format, yeah. You play that formation once and you score 5 goals and you have 19 shots and you completely dominate the game. And not just that, they weren't even like lucky goals, they were good goals. All the players were smiling as well. Again, like the mental side of the game, I think is really important. If the players are happy, they'll do good. If the players are not happy, shoulders will slump. And if you're mentally screwed, like you ain't gonna win the match. So the players seem to enjoy the system. I think that's important. It's penalty. Durwood says clear handball. Fish says Xabi red. Johnny says no penalty surely. Jeffrey says handball. Looks like it's given. Mbappe penalty. Mbappe stepping up. Mbappe. Oh, saved! Saved by Chesney. Durwood says yes with 4 E's and 5 S's. Nice save, to be fair. Mbappe went for power. All right, game on. I think. I think if that had gone in, it might have been game over. But game on. Saved. Yeah, you will be ahead of me. Yeah, it's all good though. Luke says, do you think we'll struggle against Real if we play 4-4-2? Potentially. But I'd rather struggle against Real than struggle against Brentford. You know what I mean? Like the current system where we're struggling against, I was going to say dross, but that feels a bit harsh. But we're struggling against teams we really should beat. I mean, Galatasaray, they're a good team, but you should probably be winning that. Man United at home, you should be winning that. Away, I can understand. Given the enormity of the fixture. But you should be winning that. Brentford, you should be winning that. So yeah, there's a possibility. There's a possibility that you could struggle. But then I'd argue: is there a third formation? Is there maybe a third formation that could work? Because like 4-4-2 and 4-2-3-1, there's just two formations in what is a sea of formations. Or maybe could he maybe make use of Endo a bit more? I think this is where the manager needs to show his capability. Johnny says should have picked the same team that won in midweek. Yeah. That's I agree with you 100%, and that's what I was looking forward to. Like all of Saturday morning, I was like, okay, there's a game in the evening, and of course it's going to be the same team that beat Frankfurt, because that team stopped the losing run. So I thought, okay, it's going to be the same team, same tactics. We've finally found something that works. And then when that didn't happen, I wasn't particularly happy. When that match started and it was 4-3-3 and kind of Salah wide right, Gakpo wide left, Ekitike by himself in the middle, and I was like, oh, please no. Hopefully, losing quite a few games and then winning one and then losing another, hopefully that wakes him up to a certain degree that the old way of playing doesn't work. If that went in, I would have turned this off and turned on the Spurs-Everton game. If it goes 3-1, 66, oh come on. No, that's understandable. The positive is if 66 comes on, then he would be up against Rashford, who I know he absolutely loves. So that could turn out quite well. Ikram says beard looks smooth and neat. Thank you very much. I'm growing a bit longer because it's getting colder now, so I need the free insulation, to be honest with you. That's a fair point. 4-3-2-1 with Ekitike main striker would be fire too. Yeah. So a bit more kind of protection, for the back line, and a bit more volume in the midfield. That could work. Yeah. Maybe make use of Endo a bit more. But yeah, these are the things. These are the things I want to see. Kind of experiment with different formations, experiment with different playing styles. If the current playing style doesn't work, in a Slot's very first game of pre-season last year, he played like a 4. It was like a 4-4-0. I don't know if anyone remembers, but the very first game, he played Salah on the right, Fabio Carvalho on the left, and Szoboszlai and Harvey Elliott in the middle as two kind of false nines. But by doing that, you had a box of 4 in the middle, because you had Szoboszlai and Elliott, and also whoever was the 2 behind them, I can't remember. But like kind of exotic formations like that. Just try something different. Luke says our key players were 66. Diaz, and it sounds stupid, but Elliott was class in some games. I'd say so. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. The thing is with 66, he was injured a lot. Like he was injured a lot last season. So Liverpool seem to be able to cope with him. Similarly with Diaz, I think Diaz's running and aggression was very good. But Diaz felt like second choice. It felt like to me Gakpo was his first choice last year and Diaz was like his second choice. That's just the vibe I got. I mean, to me, kind of what it feels like is maybe the personnel suited the system last year, but the personnel don't suit the system last year. Because I appreciate Diaz is not everyone's cup of tea. Like he wasn't my cup of tea. And I appreciate Nunes is not everyone's cup of tea. It definitely wasn't my cup of tea. But they would run around a lot. And I think all the extra running they would do would make up for the fact that Salah was not running. But you don't have that so much anymore. So maybe that's an issue, something they need to address. Chris says hi. How is it going, Chris? Hope you've had a better weekend than most of us. Durwood said this is the world's smallest glass. I'm like, this is normal size. this is normal size for us. Ikram says all facts. I'm behind you on that. Appreciate that. Luke says that's very fair point. Appreciate that. Fish is just coming out with randomness. Mönchengladbach, as in Borussia Mönchengladbach, or what about them? Are they playing at the moment? It doesn't look like it. It's Leverkusen Freiburg. Finished 2-0 earlier. If you can see there. Leverkusen Freiburg and Stuttgart Mainz are playing at the moment. It's 0-0. Charlotte says, shirt looks flawless and neat. Thank you very much. It's one of the training. I think it's like a training shirt. Oh, I agree with this 1,000%. I agree with this 1,000% because I feel like there's been so much revisionism on the Diaz situation. So T is saying, selling Diaz was the right choice. I wish people would stop being fooled by the Bayern form. I agree 1,000%. The reason why I agree 1,000% is as follows. Number one, Diaz had multiple seasons at Liverpool. As an overall grade, what would you give him out of 10? I'd be leaning towards a 7 out of 10. And for me, if you play for Liverpool, your starting left winger can't be a 7 out of 10. So that's kind of one concern. Second concern, he would always perform in patches. Like he'd score 2 goals and then score 2 goals the next game. And then he'd have 6 months where he'd do nothing. And then he'd score 1 goal and score 1 goal. Then he'd score 1 goal, score a hat-trick, and then 3 months where he'd do nothing. So he performed in patches quite a lot. I don't think anybody remembers that. Thirdly, I don't think the Bundesliga is representative of the Premier League from a quality perspective. I mean, look at Jarell Quansah. Jarell Quansah is doing great at the Bundesliga, but we know that in the Premier League, with bigger guys, stronger guys, faster guys, he struggles to kind of win duels. So I think that's the third point. And fourthly, it's the contract situation. So he had 2 years left. He had 2 years left on his deal. And it looked like there was pretty much no agreement on a contract. So if he's not going to sign a deal, and again, that's not necessarily his fault. Like Liverpool could maybe not be offering him the money he thinks he's worth. But when I say if he's not going to sign a deal, what I actually mean is if the two parties are not close on a amicable deal together, you don't want him going on a free. You don't want a 66 situation, so then you just have to let him go. So it feels very revisionist to me. Durwood says, I'm American, everything regarding food and drink is huge. That is true. That is true. When I went, I I made sure like in New York, I think the biggest drink I got was a medium, because like I saw somebody like with a large, and I was like, I'm not gonna finish that, and if I do finish that, I'm gonna need the bathroom like every 5 seconds. So uh, yeah, the portion sizes did take a bit of getting used to. But the good thing is, like for the bigger sizes, like they don't cost more. It's just what's a large in the US costs the same as what's a large in England. It's just in the US they give you a lot more for the money. So I guess that's a positive. Luke's FPL's not doing good. Yeah, mine's probably not doing great either. Haaland's basically carrying my FPL, and he hasn't scored today, so I'm a bit screwed. Yeah, Diaz was very good pre that Thomas Partey injury. He didn't return to the heights. Good 7. Yeah, I think that's fair. Number 23, Luis Diaz, when he first arrived on the scene. I remember Gary Neville saying, "Oh my God, they've got another one. They found another one." And so yeah, he was amazing. But yeah, after the injury, not quite the same, which makes the sale all the more correct. Ikram says Beard looks epic and powerful. I'll take that as a compliment. 7 Enthusiast says Semenyo and Alicia would make our attack complete. They would, but the flip side is you'd still have the giant hole in the midfield, and I'd still have concerns about the defense. So they'd improve the attack. But for me, like the attack isn't like the only issue. Like Liverpool keep conceding goals in the first 5 minutes. But it's weird because there's issues all over the pitch. There's issues in defense. There's issues in midfield. There's issues in attack. So like if there's issues all over the pitch, I almost feel like it's more tactical. He's alive. Sonny's alive. Sonny is alive. Everyone can stop asking me now. What happened to Sonny? Where's Sonny gone? Is Sonny okay? Is Sonny alright? Is Sonny okay? Sonny's alive. We've got confirmation here. We have confirmation that Sonny is alive. But yeah, I hope you're good, Sonny. Everyone like asks me like, where's Sonny? Is Sonny okay? And I'm like, I hope Sonny's okay. I'm not sure, but I hope you're good. I hope all is well with you. Sonny says, so Wirtz became the best player in the Premier League, I guess. And what happened to Liverpool? I think the issue, to be honest, with Liverpool is tactical. They've brought a bunch of new players, and they haven't really integrated them into the new system, I feel. It's annoying because Liverpool are insisting on playing with this 4-2-3-1 formation. But I don't think this 4-2-3-1 formation works anymore. Because whenever they play 4-2-3-1, they always lose. Whereas they played 4-4-2 against Frankfurt and they won that game. So I think they need to change back to the 4-4-2 from last week. And when they played 4-4-2, Wirtz got 2 assists. Wirtz was arguably the best player on the pitch. I don't know what the obsession is with 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, whatever you want to call it, but I'm gonna need to see a change. HG says, for me, Arne Slot has 3 more games to get this mess sorted, or we need a change. It's a tough run of games, I can't lie. It's we've got Palace, Aston Villa, Real Madrid, and then Man City away. So it's a tough run. I do agree with you. Can't accept just loss after loss after loss after loss. Yeah, for me, Slot has credit in the bank from winning the league, but that credit is not infinite. Like, for argument's sake, I think winning the league maybe gets you £100 credit in the bank, but each loss costs, say, £5 or £10 or whatever. So you did have £100 credit, and now you got £90. Now you got £70. So I'm willing to back the manager. Like for me, he's Bellingham. Is there any bit of? But referee's got his hand up. That might get disallowed. So whilst I'm willing to back the manager, I'm not backing them regardless. Which I think is fair. I think that's fair. Yeah, as you've said, that credit only goes so far. Yeah, but kind of the follow-on for that is, it feels like for certain people right now the credit's at £0. For me, it's not at £0 yet. But with each loss, you lose money. Eventually, you go into zero. Delwood says, "Welcome back, Sonny." Yeah, I'm glad to see Sonny's alive. Jenny will be happy, but Jenny might have blocked permanently because she was starting fights with everyone. But but it's good to hear. It's good to hear you are doing well, Sonny. Luke says Slot won the league with Klopp's team, and he's bought these new players and doesn't know what to do. I understand what you're saying. The kind of pushback to a certain degree would be, but even Klopp couldn't win the league with those players. You know what I mean? Like, Klopp couldn't win the league with Núñez, and when Slot took over, nobody had Liverpool winning that league. Even the quote-unquote pundits had Liverpool in 4th, had Liverpool in 6th, Liverpool in 3rd. So I think Slot does deserve credit for winning the league with those players. It's not an automatic that he had Klopp's players and therefore he won. I think he does deserve credit because nobody predicted him to win that. But the flip side is also correct. Once all these players have been purchased, it seemed to be going okay for a few games at the start, but yeah, now they're kind of stuck in a rut, which he's gonna need to kind of figure out. Like for me, he's not at 0 yet, but each loss depletes that further, and each loss doesn't cost £5. To be honest, I was more annoyed with the Brentford game than I was with the Man United game, because I feel like, again, he found a winning lead. He found a winning setup against Frankfurt, so I was disappointed that he didn't continue that. But for now, I'm still willing to kind of give him time to turn it around. Park Williams says, now we need calm and leadership. Yeah, 100%. There will kind of inevitably be a lot of noise. If a manager doesn't perform, get the manager out. If a player doesn't perform, get rid of the player. He's no good anymore. But I think winning the league last year gives Slot a fair amount of credit in my book. So I'm willing to give him a bit more time to kind of turn it around. What I don't want Liverpool to turn into is a team that kind of sacks managers after a few bad games, and then they get somebody else in, and then that somebody else is good for a few months, but then the same thing happens to that guy, and then you sack the second guy, and then you get new manager bans from the third guy, and then you sack the third guy, and then after the fourth guy, you'll be saying, why did we sack Slot so early? He won us the league. Why did we get rid of him in October? So it's often the same voices. I find that it's often the same voices that are very volatile with their decision making that will then turn around a year later and be like, why did we ever get rid of him? And it's like, that's what you wanted. I find that odd. Reluctant Gamer says, who's doing better? To be honest, Real Madrid. They've had a couple of goals disallowed as well. I think maybe they've had 2 goals disallowed and they've also missed a penalty. So it could quite easily be 5-1. A reluctant gamer says Slot won't get sacked. Still early days. Yeah, I agree. I think he'll be kind of given time to kind of figure this out. And I think he's earned that. I think he's earned that by winning the league in his first season. Like, his credit is not infinite. Like, if he carries on losing, then eventually that will run out. But for me, he's not at that stage yet. Spurs 1-0. 1-1 it looks like. But that might have been a recent goal. Daniel says, hello from Frankfurt. How are you? Hope you're good. I was going to say I hope you had a nice time at the game, but probably not a nice time. But I hope it was a good, a fun evening out. Regardless, how was the match? Like, irrespective of the results, did you have a good time? Did you have good seats? Good seats in the stadium? Yeah, Van de Ven and Jake O'Brien. If I can show you here. I don't know if that's like zoomed out too far or anything, but Luke is correct and the reluctant game is also correct. Mickey Van der Ven in the 19th minute, then Jake O'Brien just 1 minute ago. Daniel says it's crazy the football skills from Liverpool. Yeah. So to give context, Daniel's a Frankfurt fan who went to the game the other day. Yeah, Liverpool played very well in that game. Part of the reason for that is Liverpool changed the system. So Liverpool played differently against Frankfurt than they do in the league. But unfortunately for us, Liverpool have gone back to the old way of playing. Durwood says, I was just going to say Klopp didn't win the league. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that kind of... No, I perhaps wouldn't say irritates me, but that's kind of always my counter. People always say it was Klopp's team. I'm like, yeah, but Klopp didn't win the league with that team. Klopp didn't win the league with Nunes. Klopp didn't win the team with an old Andy Robertson. Klopp didn't win the team with a 66 who was desperate to leave. Klopp didn't win the league with a 66 who was learning Spanish on his phone at lunch. So it's I think Slot deserves a bit of credit for that. Where were all the Klopp out people? Yeah, exactly. I honestly feel like people just say these things for kind of clickbait because it gets likes and it gets engagement. I'd like to think that's the reason they say it, because if they genuinely believe it, that's a bit more worrying, to be honest. Daniel says the experience Champions League and to see Liverpool is insane. Yeah, Liverpool very experienced in the Champions League. It was a good performance. Liverpool are playing quite poorly. Liverpool are playing quite poorly at the moment, but in the Frankfurt game they played very good. I think Liverpool had 19 shots. 19 shots, so not what you want to see if you're a Frankfurt fan, but I hope it was a good day out regardless. Yeah, Park Williams correct. Need calm and leadership 100%. Luke says, how come you call him 66? It was like a joke that started during the summer. Like when we found out he was leaving, we were like, okay, we just can't refuse to say his name anymore. So he's just 66 now. It kind of started in the summer. Sometimes I accidentally trip up and I say Trent, and then I have to correct myself. But you know when you like have a joke, you just gotta stick with it. Yeah, it's like when Mbappe came to Real Madrid, just kind of give it a bit of time. Yeah, because the quality's there. A lot of people are saying they wasted 500 million, and I know it wasn't 500 million. They wasted 200 million, but for me, Isak's not a waste of money. Vert's not a waste of money. In the summer, you would have said Isak's one of the top strikers in the world. In the summer, you would have said Verts is one of the top attacking midfielders in the world. In the summer, you would have said Kerkez is one of the best young left backs in the world. So for me, it's I don't think they've wasted money, but I do think the tactics are not working. So we need this manager to figure it out. Dilly says, you think we're going to finish in the top 4? Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, of course. So Daniel's saying, but Hugo is every time Frankfurt striker, we love him. Yeah. So Ekatike got the first goal, didn't he? And he didn't celebrate, to be fair. He just he put his hands up, so he didn't celebrate. But yeah, no, that would have been. It seems most kind of Frankfurt fans are happy that he's doing well, so I think that's a positive. And we sent prayers to Diogo before the game start. Yeah, no, that's good to see. That's very, very well appreciated. So yeah, it's always nice to see that some things more important than football. Fish is back. It's always good to know. It's always good to see. Pascual says, yeah, we just need time with him. Like first season with Mbappe for Madrid, team just needs to adapt. Yeah. I think especially kind of given that there's so many kind of new players. Oh, Madrid through again, but nothing happens. So yeah, he's got time to figure it out, and I think that's fine. But he doesn't have infinite time to figure it out, and I think that's fine as well. There needs to be a balance, and I don't know where that balance is. Is that balance 1 month? Is it 2 months? Is it Christmas time? Is it New Year? So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I do think sacking him now is insanity. Because what message does that also send to the next manager? You need to win every single game, and if you lose a few, we'll get rid of you. I think if you send that message, maybe the next manager, if there is a next manager, maybe the next manager won't want to take risks. Oh, Mbappe through. What is this Barcelona defending? But they get back. Melusi says, Valverde, how you doing, Melusi? Hope all is good with you. Fish wants Tyler Morton. I was speaking to Tyler Morton yesterday, and he says that he wants Fish. So that is a communal love and a communal appreciation, which is always nice. Daniel says, but Liverpool lose yesterday. What type of Liverpool is this team in the Premier League? Yes. Liverpool played a completely different style of play versus Frankfurt compared to what they played versus Brentford. So against Frankfurt, for some reason, he completely changed the tactics. So he played like 4-4-2, 4-2-4, which you could argue is a bit more attacking. Whereas against Brentford, he went back to the old formation, which is kind of a 4-2-3-1. For me, that's the reason. For me, that's the reason. He played a different team and he played different tactics versus Frankfurt. So I'm curious to see now what happens. What happens versus Crystal Palace? Is it going to be 4-2-3-1 again, or is it going to be 4-4-2? It's pretty much gone pitch black outside. Let me see if I can make this a bit brighter. I've increased the light a bit. Is that too much? Can you see a bit too much now? There you go. Increased it a bit. Maybe my face is too bright now. That'll do. Ikram says Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, or is that Korean Zombie, the last guy? In which case, I would leave it at that order. So Volkanovski number 1, Max Holloway number 2. Which is crazy because before Volkanovski burst onto the scene, you'd probably put Max Holloway number 1, but Volkanovski number 1, Max Holloway number 2, and if that's Korean Zombie, I'll put him number 3. Daniel says Frankfurt wins yesterday against St. Pauli 2-0. Nice. So you're bouncing back, which is good to see. After a big loss, it's there's always a risk that you then go on a losing run. So it's nice to see that you're bouncing back with a win instantly. Malusi can't bear the fact that we're below United. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a long time since that's happened. But if it's any sort of comfort, it's not. I think it's just 1 point. And I think end of the season, Liverpool will finish higher. But yeah, right now the situation's not ideal. Let's put it that way. Fitch says, "Who's Ogdo? Is this the thing you sent me the other day about a villain in Star Wars or something? Was it Star Wars villain that you sent me?" I switched the game, seeing Grealish doing Grealish things in an Everton shirt just makes me laugh. Yeah. It's like they don't do that around here. Have you seen that meme where it's like, we don't do that here? Somebody should have given old Jack that message. It looks like that goal was choked off because it's back to 1-0 to Spurs. But yeah, 5 minutes left in this game. Camavinga's gone down, which is never good. Malusi says Arsenal winning the league would just be upset. Yeah, I agree with you there. Like, of course I want Liverpool to win the league, but I proactively do not want Arsenal to win the league. So if Liverpool cannot win the league, then I'd want City to win it. Because if City win the league, it's almost like nobody won the league, because nobody cares if City win the league, because nobody supports City. nobody really cares. So if Liverpool don't win, then I'd rather City win it. I do not want Arteta specifically to win the league, because I find him unbearable as a human being. Like Declan Rice, I'm sure he's a lovely person, but Arteta, I just find that guy annoying. Grealish at City was horrible. Yeah, he had one good season where everyone was like, "Yeah, see, that's why he's £100 million player," and then he just couldn't get into the team after that. United were thinking of sacking Amorim too, but the pressure was turned up. Yeah, good point. And they stuck with him, and now they seem to have come out the other side on a positive. I think they won yesterday as well, 4-2 or something. So shows you the benefits of loyalty. I was going back and forth on that in my mind. You know, when I was saying I'd rather City win it because I don't want Arsenal, I was thinking, would I have United over Arsenal? And to be honest, if you pushed me for an answer, I'd say I probably agree with you. I'd probably agree. I mean, it feels like choosing between two kind of life-threatening diseases, but I think I'd agree. Fish wants Fish FC to win the league. Yeah, I mean, that's who I actually want to win the league. If I had a choice between Liverpool and Fish FC. Ooh, Mbappe just wide. I'd go for your team. Yeah, everyone hates Arsenal. It seems to be kind of a very kind of recent trend. Kind of back in the day, like 10 years ago, nobody used to really hate Arsenal. But everyone seems to hate them now. I don't know if it's because of Arteta or what the reason is, but I just find them annoying now. I didn't used to mind them. But yeah, I just don't want Arsenal to win the league. Luke saying Fish FC is brilliant, especially when they're on the ball. Malusi says, "What is Fish FC?" I mean, you'll have to get Fish to tell us. To be honest, Fish has a tendency just to say random things, and I just take them seriously. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. I respect your opinion. And then everyone's like, what is Fish FC? To be honest with you, I don't know. But it's easier for me just to say, yes, I agree. Sunderland to win would be hilarious, I can't lie. Especially after so many people, myself included, had them going down. Have they not got season tickets to Fish FC? I guess not. I mean, you need to be able to breathe underwater, I guess, to support that team. Bellingham's coming off, so Bios coming on. Sadly, it's their league to lose, but it is Arsenal. And as long as Arteta is there, I don't think it will happen. Yeah, I just think, I mean, the pattern kind of every year seems to be they do well, and then when they're ahead, they get a bit scared, and then they go very defensive, and then when they go very defensive, suddenly things don't work out so well anymore, and then they start dropping down the table. So I'm hoping the same pattern resumes. And also, I think something we forget is it is very early in the season. Eventually the stress of 4 competitions is gonna start taking its toll on the players' legs. Having Carabao Cup, having FA Cup, having Champions League, having Premier League, eventually that takes a toll. Not so much in October because I don't think the FA Cup has really started yet. And players are more well rested now because it's October. But when you get to February time, that's crunch time. Fish has provided clarity, saying Fish FC or Fashinsky FC is a Polish club in Zabrze in the 9th League of Polish football. Good context. I hope your team wins the league in Poland. Malusi says, you know what, I'll take it as long as it's not Arsenal. Is that Man United? So does Malusi also agree? You'd rather have Man United over Arsenal? To be honest, I'm leaning towards that as well. Like in an ideal scenario, it'd be neither of those, but if you had to. I just find Arteta annoying, to be honest with you. Ikram says, why did the calendar go to therapy? It felt its days were numbered. Charlotte says, can Nioni surprise fans in Premier League minutes? I mean, I forgot about him, to be fair. Trey Nioni. To be honest with you, I think kind of given his age, he's probably more of a kind of Carabao Cup, potentially FA Cup, potentially Champions League if you've already qualified type of player. It seems unlikely that he'd start unless there's serious injuries. So that's probably what I would predict, to be honest with you. We are only 9 games in. Very true. That's why kind of right now I'm not making any serious predictions. The table, because there's so few points, and there's so little distance between first and fourth, and there's so little distance between first and eighth, and there's so little distance between first and 10th, and there's so little distance between first and 20th, because it's October. It's really hard to make predictions because a few results, a few wins and a few losses can completely change the complexion of the table. So yeah, it tends to be around Christmas time. It tends to be around Christmas time where you can start making serious predictions, I think. Malusi says yes, it would become a farmers' league, but if United win, it's fine. Yeah, you could probably live with that. But also with the football that kind of Arteta has played, kind of given how defensive it's been, I don't think that kind of football should be rewarded. But to be honest, there's a long way to go. I just hope Liverpool can get out of this current slump that they're in. Because even though they're 5th or 6th or whatever it is, from a points perspective, it's just 1 or 2. It's like 2 games. And that can flip really easily. Shot by Rodrigo, but saved. Charlotte says, what's your favourite holiday destination? Canada was really good. Came back 2 weeks ago. New York was really nice. Barcelona was really nice, who we're watching right now. I've never really been on holiday and regretted it. Prague was also very nice, I must admit. Ikram says word. It's 2-1 here. Corner to Barcelona. If we get Mark Gay from Palace, we've got a good chance of getting back in it. Yeah, I think if you were to kind of rank the frailties, I think the defensive frailties would probably rank number 1. Because I think if you concede early, that then lowers the morale of the team, and it just makes the team very unconfident. And if you concede early, that means the rest of the team suddenly start forcing the issue and start rushing things. Because it's very different being at 0-0 compared to being 1-0 down. When you're at 1-0 down, suddenly Salah's taking shots that he shouldn't normally take because he's desperate to score. So I think just having that defensive solidity should hopefully result in less early goals being conceded, and should hopefully therefore give more confidence to other areas of the team. So yeah, I think that's a must, to be honest. At this point, if they did get Mark Gahey in the summer, I don't think Konate would be playing right now. But I think Konate is mostly playing out of necessity, because there's nobody else. Like Gomez isn't seriously going to challenge his position, so Konate looks like the only option. Malusi says it's a long way to go. That's what people said when Liverpool were leading in the beginning of the season in 2024. Yeah. People just seem desperate to make conclusions based on whatever the most recent information is. And the thing is, there's no, I don't want to say accountability, but people will say things and then something else happens and then they'll change their mind, and then something else happens and then they'll change their mind for a third time. It's far too early to make any sort of predictions. October's not over yet, and then we've got all of November, and then we've got all of December. Just all of November and all of December alone, That's a significant amount of football, and that only takes you to Christmas. That doesn't take you to the end of the season. So yeah, I think that league table will change. Will change significantly. Free kick for Real Madrid. Rodrigo, ooh, good free kick, but saved. Rank these goalkeepers for saves in big games. Alisson number 1, Pepe Reina number 2, Simon Mignolet I mean, I don't. You say saves in big games. I was gonna say Simon Mignolet number 3, but given Dudek's performance in the 2005 final, that's a big game, and you can argue that would push him up. So I might be tempted to put Dudek 3. Simon Mignolet number 4. Ikram says, who pairs best with Verts in midfield? So Bosley, McAllister, or somebody else? I mean, both of them, to be honest. So Bosley's more kind of engine, more kind of physical. McAllister's more kind of technical. But in terms of the ideal situation, I think a lot of that is also dependent on fitness. I don't think McAllister's fully fit. He hasn't been. Well, Pedri's getting sent off, but he's laughing about it. I don't think he cares. I don't think McAllister's fully fit. Malusi has to unfortunately study for exams. That's all right. Take care, Malusi. I'll be going in 1 minute anyway. This match is over in 1 minute. But yeah, hope the exams go well. Pedri's got sent off. Oh, and now there's a bit of an argument. And now they're all having a fight because God knows they can't behave themselves. So Van der Ven scored a second. So it's 2-0. Yeah, Pedri doesn't need to do that, to be honest with you. It's a late tackle, which is completely unneeded. And then, of course, a fight starts. I thought you were supposed to be good examples to kids and all of that stuff, but you always end up having a fight at the end. Is it full? I don't think it's full time. I think it's still going. Madrid fans look happy, as they would be, to be fair, with a win. If you could choose any car, which one would you choose? To be honest, not much of a car person. To be honest, I have a license, but I've never been much of a car person. But it's full time. Real Madrid win 2-1. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It wouldn't be a Madrid Barcelona game with at least one red card and a fight of some sort. They're fighting again now after the full time. They're having another scrap. Xabi Alonso is getting in the middle trying to stop it. Good luck with that, Xabi. You're probably the smallest one there. I probably wouldn't get in the middle. Oh, the usual. They have a fight and then there'll be apologies on social media later on tomorrow saying, oh, we regret the situation. We would like to apologize, blah, blah, blah. But it is what it is. Anyway, that's that game done. I'll probably be back midweek. When are Liverpool playing? Is it Wednesday? $29 of the 10. So is that Wednesday? Yeah, Crystal Palace game. Shall be back for that. Hopefully Liverpool play the 4-4-2. and win the game. If they go for 4-2-3-1 again, I'm going to lose my mind, but it is what it is. But anyway, I'm going to go out. So yeah, hope you guys have a nice weekend. See you guys soon. And yeah, take care.